Hello, everybody. Welcome to Casting for Two, episode number 23. That's right, 23. I guess this is. I was trying to. I don't know why I enunciated 23 like it. Oh, I guess I had the Jim Carrey movie on my in my head, number 23, which. Coincidence? I think not. Anyway, back to this episode and not Jim Carrey, which, I mean, I'd like to talk to him. That's all I'm saying. Today we got a good episode for you. I have TV personality Kyle Keller on. She's very nice, like a ray of pure San Diego sunshine. We had a great chat. We talked all about her random odd jobs that she's had, her love for theater, Robert Downey Jr. Yes, like any podcast isn't complete without a reference of Robert Downey Jr. That should be in the rule book, in the law, the podcast law. RDJ has to be in there. But you know, she's very positive, very bubbly. I really enjoyed chatting with her. And I got to learn some life lessons. And you know what? You will too if you listen to this episode, which you're doing right now. And, you know, unfortunately, you can't listen to this episode while I'm talking. Because I'm stopping. I'm halting everything while I'm waiting for the random beatboxing to end. I'm stalling. That's what I'm trying to say. So you know what? Let's just stop this shenanigans. And let's get to this episode, okay? I'm tired of talking. Sit back, relax, and listen at me talk to Kyle Keller about lots of stuff. So, Chris, cue the music, please. Hello?
This is Kyle. Hello?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you great.
Perfect. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. So how the show works out, it's just kind of a loose show where basically I just chat with people. I like talking with people, finding out, you know, what makes them tick, just all different kinds of things. So there's no really set agenda.
Okay.
But yeah, I would like to know, you know, how you got started. You know, I saw on your bio you were into theater work, which I'm very interested in theater work. Not doing it, but just actors in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that started at a really early age. I mean, I think I loved all things entertainment from when I was like 2, maybe. But yeah, I was involved in theater. I wanted to be a Broadway star was my dream. And so I actually, did a lot of plays growing up and then went to college and I was a musical theater major and my goal, like my dream was to perform on Broadway. And, in 2007, I had throat surgery to remove polyps from my vocal cords. So that kind of derailed everything and haven't been able to sing since, but it was a blessing in disguise because now I have this somewhat awesome raspiness with my voice that I didn't have before. And that's really how I got into, you know, radio and TV hosting. And because of that.
And where did your love from theater come from? Were your parents into theaters?
Yeah, my whole family, you know, my family is very creative in a lot of ways. I know that my dad's mom was a model growing up and, you know, she kind of did some stuff. And then my mom is one of 12 kids and they're a crazy fun family. You know, they sing all the time. And I just think that it was just something that was kind of in my blood, really. Like, I just think that in some way, shape, or form, I was meant to be in the entertainment industry in some way, and it's just kind of, I've been in every aspect of it, really. Mm-hmm. But it's been awesome. It's been tough, but it's been a cool ride.
Mm-hmm. And how do you go from theater to what was your job, after you graduated and all that?
I mean, I have done every odd job that you can imagine trying to make it in the industry. Mm-hmm. After college, and I lived in LA, and I was acting, and I was trying to, I had an agent and a manager, and I was trying to do, soap operas and stuff, and then that ended, and then when I moved to New York, obviously trying to do Broadway, and I was an international flight attendant for Continental Airlines for about 5 years. Mm-hmm. And so that was something that I was doing, and it was really, really cool. And then when I had my throat surgery was when I was still in New York. After my throat surgery, I got scouted by Maxim Radio as one of their hometown hotties. Mm-hmm. And I ended up being a guest host for about 4 to 6, probably 5-6 months on Covino and Rich show, which is on Sirius XM Radio. Mm-hmm. And so I was, working with them for a while, and I was just kind of guest hosting once a week, and it was awesome, and that kind of got me into the industry. And I remember people saying, you have the voice for radio, but you have the face for TV. You should try to get into hosting and try to see what you can do. And I had never really thought about that aspect, because after my throat surgery, I was devastated, because, growing up, when all you really know how to do is sing and dance and act, and then all of a sudden, your number one thing is taken away from you. Mm-hmm. It's hard. It's what do you do with that? So it really was kind of a blessing in disguise. And so when I moved back to San Diego, I ended up getting involved with a web-based company, and I was executive producing with them, and then I ended up taking over and being their on-air correspondent. And I did really well, and that got me in front of the camera. And there, I got picked up by a network in San Diego and was corresponding with them. And then I decided that I needed to kind of, shoot for the stars. And so I moved to Hollywood about a year ago, and I've been, living there ever since, just kind of doing it.
Okay, right on. And what you mentioned odd jobs. What was the oddest one of them all?
The oddest job that I've had, let's see. I mean, I was a personal trainer for a while. I bartended. I've been a personal assistant for a sports agent, which was an amazing, cool job. I don't know if I've had any odd jobs that are crazy and weird. Mm-hmm. All the jobs that I've had have been cool in mm-hmm. some ways. They've all been tied into certain things, and they've all kind of honestly been tied to the entertainment industry in some way. I was a personal trainer, so obviously I had to stay in shape, and working for a sports agent, I love sports, so it was a kick butt job for me. It was amazing, and so I think being a flight attendant, I think, was one of the things that was really fun for me. But it's like you're a glorified waitress in the sky, but the benefits and the layovers, my regular routes for London and Paris, so those layovers were amazing. So it was a fun job. I've pet sit before randomly, that could be the most random thing, mm-hmm. maybe, but I've never been one of those, like how you hear the random celebrities, how they're like, oh yeah, I worked at Dairy Queen, or I did this. I've never really done that. It's always been stuff that I've been interested in, mm-hmm. I think.
Well, that's cool. At least, they all kind of mesh together. So that's a cool thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
But so now you're in Hollywood. Where are you originally from?
I am Cleveland born, San Diego raised.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually in San Diego now because my family and I are traveling out of town in the morning to go visit my brother and their kids. So I'm excited.
Okay, right on. But so as far as, your work and all the corresponding that you've done, is there
Mhm.
a particular, interview or something like that that you look back on and say, oh, that was really that this was the one I really enjoyed doing or talking to?
Yeah, I mean, everybody that you interview, and I'm sure having your podcast, I'm sure you can say the same thing. A lot of
Hmm.
people that you talk to, everybody has kind of preconceived notions of how they think they're going to be.
Hmm.
Like this person could be rude or they could be amazing, and you never know. I think one of the best interviews, probably my favorite interview that I ever did, was with Chad Michael Murray.
Hmm.
Um, 2 summers ago at Comic-Con, and he had written a book.
Hmm.
He wrote like a sci-fi novel that was like, it ended up being like an animation kind of thing, and it was really, really cool. And nobody knew this about him. He's a very creative guy, and everyone knows him as this early 2000s heartthrob who, has been in movies and was on One Tree Hill for years and whatnot. And I remember looking at the manual of everyone who was going to be there, and I remember seeing his name that he was doing a book signing, and I told my producer at the time when I was with the network in San Diego, and I said, I need to interview him. This is amazing. Like, he's a huge star. I want to see what, makes him tick a little bit. I want to see if I can actually just get in and see if I can do it. And honestly, I was expecting him, just to be rude, I was expecting him to be snobby, like an A-lister or whatever. And I met up with his publicist before I actually met with him. And she was like, well, he has so many things that he needs to sign and blah, blah, blah. So, like how publicists are.
Yeah.
And so she was kind of, telling me that I couldn't talk to him. And then I see him and he comes up. He's walking up. And I introduced myself to him and I said, I'm a huge fan of you. I've been following you and I love your book. Like, I'm with the local network here. Is there any way I can talk to you? And he was like, absolutely. He goes, I'm going to be signing in a few minutes. Can we do it in like 10, 15 minutes? I'll take a little break. We can do it, I'll give you like 3 minutes. And I said, perfect. So he was so nice, and he ended up stopping everything that he was doing. I mean, there was lines like tweens and girls who just loved him. They were waiting in line, and he stopped everything that he was doing, and he actually ended up talking to me for about 10 minutes on camera.
Oh,
it
wow.
just went like so great. Was the nicest guy. Took pictures, took photos, and like was just so gracious. And he's probably, in my opinion, he's the nicest big celebrity that I've ever met in my life, just because he took time out of his busy day and, because it was important. Obviously, I was giving him press and he was there to do a job, and he was just the nicest, most gracious guy, like that you would never expect him. You would think he'd be rude, and he was just so humble and gracious. So it's somebody that you can kind of look up to and live by, the way that they live, I think.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, you know what? There you go, people. So anybody around Chad Michael Murray, feel free to say hi to him. Don't be afraid of him. He's a nice guy.
Feel free to say hi to Chad Michael Murray and tell him that you love his book, Everlast. It's about Derek Everlast, which is his character that he created. But he's like, seriously, if you see him, he's really, really nice. Don't be afraid of his good looks.
Okay. See, I might get afraid of his good looks and just walk away. And
That's what most people do. Well, people have these preconceived notions that they're kind of afraid of celebrities because it's like they see them and go, there's Jennifer Lawrence, what are we going to do? But in reality, it's like, we're all normal people. We just have cool jobs,
mm-hmm.
And like being in the public eye, it's something that people, we're blessed by it, and we all asked for it in some way or another. But really, like, a lot of celebrities that I've met are actually really, really shy, and they're kind of awkward. That's why they're actors, because they get to be these characters. They get to, they're actually like really shy, awkward people in real life, but then they get to portray these characters, and they kind of get these out-of-body experiences, which helps them. So, I mean, unless there's like security guards around or whatever, I would say, if you see someone, just don't go up to them and go crazy, but, you know, just say, hey, I liked your last movie, or I read your book, you're great, you know, whatever. Because everyone, I mean, who doesn't love a compliment, right? Like,
right.
Everyone loves it, so why not?
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like Robert Downey Jr.'s character in Tropic Thunder. How he's such a weirdo, yet he plays all these crazy characters that he doesn't know how to be himself.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so there you go. Celebrities are people too. I think that
celebrities are people too.
So if there's we've already if you take away one thing from this episode, that's what it is, and it's happened halfway through. So.
I have a really good Robert Downey Jr. story for you.
Oh, lay it on me.
I was at a Halloween party a couple weeks ago, like a month ago, and it was an amazing. It was like big old celebrity party. Tons of people there. Adam Levine, you know, Leo DiCaprio. It was so amazing. And I'm sitting here and I'm like talking, like there's like this cute, like the Energizer bunny, you know, the pink Energizer bunny.
Yeah.
Is there? And I'm like petting it, being like, oh, it's so cute, like the coolest thing. Takes off its head, it's Robert Downey Jr. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been petting Robert Downey Jr. all night and I didn't even realize it. Coolest guy ever, really, really nice, just so fun. You know, one of those people that he's just badass. Like, you just want to be his friend. You know, he's just a cool dude.
Yeah, he's like everyone's awesome uncle.
Exactly. He is one of those people that you wish he was in your family so you could just hang out with him all the time and be like, hey, Uncle Bob, how you doing?
Yeah.
Let's go hang out. You know, that's who he is for sure.
Well, that's good.
He's great.
Okay, takeaway 2, Robert Downey Jr. is awesome.
Robert Downey Jr. is awesome.
Which I guess people already know, but I just like to get that out there again.
He's pretty much like how he seems on camera is pretty much how he is in real life. Like he's pretty darn cool. You know, like he's basically everything that you want him to be. Like that's how he is.
Right on. Okay, well then I'm happy now.
Good. I'm glad that you're happy.
But so when you're not busy, you know, working on your various projects, what do you do to just chill?
Man, I am so lucky living in Hollywood that my family and my friends are all still in San Diego, and it's only about two and a half hour drive. So for me, you know, whenever I have the time, I go home and I see my family, and I'll go and see all my friends that live in San Diego, and I'll spend a weekend there and just kind of, you know, get out of LA and realize that, you know, life does exist outside of the grind of Los Angeles. But, you know, I love sports. I love going to sports games and, you know, doing yoga and feeling a little zen, things like that. But, you know, I mean, I've kind of been a homebody recently. I TiVo, or I DVR way more shows than anybody should ever DVR in their life, and I literally watch every single one of them. So there's times where I'm like, I can't go out because I have 3 episodes of Grey's Anatomy that I have to catch up on. So you guys have, you know, I mean, stuff like that. And you know, boring stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. Sometimes I need to catch up on Castle before I do anything.
Yeah, I have a friend. My friend Maya Stoyan's on Castle, and she's been a guest star. And I'm praying, fingers crossed, that she'll get bumped up to a series regular. But she's amazing on that show. So I'm glad that you watch and that you support Castle. It's a great show.
I will support Cat. Whenever it's on, I just have to stop everything. Even if I've already seen the episode, I'll just sit there and just watch it. And then before I know it, 5 hours pass, and I'm like,
Exactly. Once you get stuck, you're stuck, and you're like, God, there's more episodes. You got to keep going.
Exactly.
15 hours later, you're like, oh, man, come on.
So one thing we don't really talk a lot on the show about is sports. And if you're open to it, I'd love to talk to you about sports.
I would love to talk to you about sports as well, so bring it on.
Okay, so what are you watching right now? Like what's your go-to team if I asked you what your favorite team was, which is what I'm doing right now?
Okay, well, obviously, like, baseball, hands down, is my favorite sport. My dad and I, you know, when I was growing up, used to go to Padres games, and I used to work for the Padres. But right now, obviously, I got to be, you know, I'm a San Diego girl, obviously, the Chargers, and
Right.
they had a pretty lame but good win yesterday over the Ravens. I mean, they did something, you know. I mean, they were pretty good, but Kansas City. But they won 40-38 yesterday. Like, they barely won, but Kansas City, but they won, you know, like, they did something.
Right.
But, you know, I'm a San Diego fan. I support all the San Diego teams. They're not necessarily always great, but
Right.
you know, I can't be a fair weather fan. I gotta, you know, give them love wherever, you know, when needed.
Right. Yeah, no. I guess football would always be my number one, just because my family grew up a football family. I played a little bit in
Who's your
school.
team?
My team.
Who's your team?
I'm from Texas, so it is the Dallas Cowboys.
I used to live in Austin. I do like the Cowboys.
Yeah. And so the nice thing about the Cowboys is that, you know, people, whenever I tell them I'm a Cowboys fan or whatever, they always, you know, the number one reaction I would always get is boo. And in me, I'm not a cutthroat Cowboys fan where I'm like, you take that back. I'm like, yeah, you know, they have good years, they have bad years, you know.
It is what it is.
Exactly.
They really are America's team, and the cheerleaders are America's sweethearts. Now, here's the question for you. Have you ever been to Cowboy Stadium, the new one?
No, I was at the old one when they were playing the Dolphins, I believe it was, during Thanksgiving when it became the Snow Bowl.
Oh yeah,
way back in the day when I was just a youngin. I saw them play, but I haven't been to the new stadium. That's probably on my dad's bucket list.
I've been there. It's the Taj Mahal of all stadiums. It's amazing. It's fantastic.
Wow.
Okay. Love it.
Okay. Well, now I have to go.
Now you have to go.
Yeah, there we go. It's settled. No, I know my dad would love to go, and he has. My sister got him a plaque of when they blew up the old stadium. They took chunks of the seats and the footballs, and they put it in plaques. And my dad has that hanging up on the wall right now. So
that's good.
He is the diehard Cowboys fan, and I'm the guy who I support him supporting the Cowboys. But you know, if they win or lose, it's all fine. The one team I'm surprised is doing so well is the Seahawks.
Yeah, Seattle. It's interesting, and I think I was watching So when I was watching yesterday, it was the Ravens played the Jets yesterday, right? If I'm not mistaken, and when I was watching, it had said that they had every time the Ravens had played the Jets had lost to the Ravens for the past 7 meetings that they've had. Like, you know, it was just insane. And there's all these random teams that you don't expect to do well, and
right, yeah.
You know, and players. But then there's certain teams like the Chargers. I think San Diego in general. Like, I love San Diego. It's my home. You know, I'm always going to support them. But I feel like, my personal opinion, that athletes come to San Diego and they play in San Diego, they kind of take what I call the San Diego discount, where they kind of come to San Diego when they're close to retiring because they're not making as much money as they once were, because the way that the teams don't have, especially the Padres, they don't have huge budgets. They have it's amazing stadiums, amazing living, weather, everything, but you'll notice, especially with baseball, with the Padres, that these baseball players, when they're close to retiring, say they're making $15 million a year 1 year, and then like 5 or 6 years later they were injury prone or whatever. They'll sign with San Diego for $1.5 to $2 million. They take the discount, and then after that they'll retire, and they end up living in San Diego for the rest of their lives. Like, I can't tell you how many athletes I know that actually still live in San Diego after they've retired, just because it's the best city in America. It is America's finest city. So I do. My dad's looking at me. I think he agrees with me on that. That, you know, these athletes, like, when they're close to retiring, they come to San Diego, they played and they live there and they retire, and it is what it is because, you know, we don't have the state doesn't have the funds to give these $150 million contracts that you want. You know, it's like you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, that makes a lot of sense.
That's my thought on sports.
Just to bring it back around, I'm glad to hear that Hollywood is just full of nice guys. But I don't know, for some reason that's not out there more. I guess people just like to focus on the bad stuff, which is kind of true.
I mean, there is a lot of bad stuff, but the thing with me is that the way that I was raised, I don't associate myself with bad people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the people that are in my life are good people and people who are positive and, you know, and it's like a relationship. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like people who bring out the best in me and I bring out the best in them, whether it's a relationship, family, friends, whatever it is. You know, you have to stay positive, and if you surround yourself with negative people, it's going to make you a negative person. But if you surround yourself with positive, supportive people, it's going to make your life that much better. And so I have I can count my friends on one hand that I have in Hollywood. I can count my friends on two hands that I have in San Diego. But you know, I mean, you just surround yourself with good people, and you make the best of every situation that you're in. And you can't get caught up in the Hollywood BS because it can suck you in, they chew you up and spit you out. But you just gotta stay true. Just remember, at the end of the day, you gotta remember where you came from, and you know, kind of look at the big picture. Why you're there? You're not there to party and you know to be rude to people. You're there for a job. You're there to do what you need to do and to make you the best person that you can be. And if you get caught up in that BS, it's only going to sidetrack you, you know? You just got to do whatever you can do to make it by still, you know, staying real to who you really are.
There you go. You know what? I'm going to move that to the number one takeaway.
Yay!
But, Kyle, I have to say I've had an absolute pleasure talking with you. I unfortunately don't have anything else to bring up. Did you have something you wanted to chat about?
No, I'm about to go to dinner right now.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll let you go to dinner. I'll let you go. You win.
Father-daughter time.
Oh, you know what? Fine. Okay, that's more important. I get that. Yeah. So for the people at home who'd like to, you know, chat with you, follow you, just keep in contact with you, where do they do that?
Everything that I do is Ms. Kyle Keller, which is M as in Mary, S as in Sam, Kyle Keller. So Facebook.com/Ms. Kyle Keller. Twitter, Instagram, at Ms. Kyle Keller, and my website, which has connections to everything, is www.mskyle.com.
Okay. So,
and I love fans. I respond to everybody. I'm one of those.
Oh, you're okay. So everyone go and talk to her and say hi.
Say hi. You can harass me. You can do whatever you want. If you harass me, I'll probably block you. But if you're nice to me, then I will. You know, I'm pretty cool. I like to think I'm pretty cool.
You are very cool, and I got to have you on the show again sometime in the future. But unfortunately, now is the time where we have to stop talking, and you have to go have dinner with your dad.
I do.
All right. So you have a good one, okay? Thank you for stopping by.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Hey guys, just a quick reminder, you can always catch up with these episodes on castingfor2.com. You can also follow me at Twitter @castingfor2 or send me an email at castingfor2@gmail.com.